Hello everybody, my name is Yang and this is my series of practicing English. First, I share my story about me. Last night, I went to bed early and then now I'm just woke up. I think I need to wake up earlier than before because there's a lot of things to do today. Uh, the, the, the plan today is I have to schedule a presentation for tomorrow class, the, and prepare the test for my student class 12 and class 11 and class 7. Uh, I think there's a lot of things and lots of things to repair. So I was stressed because of this. And my salary is really low. I can't buy anything from, uh, from it. So I feel unhappy. Yes. And keep reading, practicing English. And today I keep reading the last chapter 3 in the lounge. The lounge was 7 meters long and there were 30 men in it. Captain Bligh sat at the back of the lounge and looked at its men. The size of the lounge was only 30 centimeters above the sea. Mr. Hall, look at our food, please, Bligh said. Yes, sir. Bligh looked away over the sea. The bounties were very far away now, but there was a small island, Tafur, about 20 kilometers to the west. After some minutes, Mr. Horn, a young officer, said, Sir, we have 150 kilos of bread, 2 kilos of meat, 6 bottles of spring, and 126 liters of water, sir. Is that all? I asked. We have a small sail and some coal, sir. Horn said, That's all. Thank you, Mr. Hall, Bligh said. It's not much, but we're going to Tafua, so perhaps we can find some more food and water there. Bligh swore away, but he didn't want them to see that. The men were quiet. They didn't look angry. The next day, they landed at Tafua. They found breadfruit, bananas, and coconuts, but no water. A lot of islands that came down to the sea. Where's your ship? They asked. It sank, Bligh said. All your friends are dead. We need food and water. The islands laughed. It was not friendly laugh. They talked quietly. More men came. Soon they were nearly 100. They began to pick up stones. Get back to the boat, Bligh said. Quickly now. But the islands killed one man with stones. When the launch went out to the sea, the islands came after with their canoes. They threw stones at the sailors. Threw the corpse into the sea, Bligh said. Quickly, the islanders stopped and picked the coach out of the sea. The canoes went back to Tafur. We can't land on any islands, then Bligh said, not with our big ship and guns. He looked at his men. They were quiet and afraid. We must be careful with our food, he said. Every man can have a small piece of bread and coconut today and a cup of water. That's all. When it's cold, we have some room. But don't worry, remember, I'm your captain. Listen to me and we can stay alive. Yes, sir. Then the youngest, a boy called Robert Twinkler, said, I want to go home. Bligh looked at him, and for a minute the boy was afraid. because Blythe was very Blythe was open angry. Then he saw a small cold smile on Blythe's face. Tree-land Robert? Yes, sir. Well, that's about 30,000 kilometers away. So first, let's find Timor. That's much nearer. There are Dutch ships there. They can take us home. Yes, sir. The boy looked happier. How far is it, Timor, sir? For a minute, Blythe didn't answer. He looked away over the cold green sea. The wind was stronger now. The sky was dark. Oh, not far, he said slowly. Only about 7,000 kilometers. Next morning, wind got stronger and stronger, and the launch went up and down over big green waves. Everyone was wet, and white water came into the launch. The sailors used the empty coconut to throw the water back into the sea. At midday, they ate 5 small coconuts and drank some rum, and they ate some wet breadfruit in the evening. The wind and the waves were strong all night. No one could sleep. The next day, the bread was wet, but they didn't throw it away. In the afternoon, it rained, and they caught the water in cups and coconuts. But it rained all night, so everyone was cold and wet. The lounge was so small, so they could not all sleep. Most men sat up all night. On 8th May, it was sunny. The men took off their wet shirts and trousers. Blythe gave them some room, coconut milk, and 80 grams of bread. Often he talked about New Guinea, Australia, and Timor. There were storms for the next 2 weeks. Sometimes they saw the sun for an hour, but every day it rained. Big green waves threw white water into the lounge. They are always wet, tired, and hungry. 3 times they saw islands, but they didn't go near them. They ate bad bread and old meat, but they had lots of rain water to drink. When they were very wet, Blythe gave his men some room. No one could sleep for more than 1 or 2 hours, but every hour Blythe held a long rope over his side. The rope had knots in it. The men watched carefully. The knots went behind the lounge, and Blythe looked at his watch. "We're going too quickly today," Blythe told them, and wrote a little book. "We're going about 160 kilometers every day," he told his men, "but we can't always sail west because of the wind. So I'm sorry, but today we can only have 40 grams of bread." "Bad bread too," said one man. "Brussels, yes, but it keeps us alive," Blythe answered angrily. And then he laughed. "Look up there," he said. There was a bird on the front of the lounge. Its small yellow eye looked at them carefully. The sailor opened their hand very slowly. The bird didn't move. One man put his went up and down. One man put his hand on it. The bird moved away, but at the same time, his friend caught a bird's feet and killed it. The sailors laughed and shouted. It was only very small black and white bird, but it was good food. "I caught it," the first sailor said. "No, you didn't." The other man said, "I did." "Be quiet," Blythe said. "Give it to me." He cut the bird with his knife and caught its red blood in a cup. The man drank the blood. The blind cut the bird into 18 pieces and put them in front of him. Right, he said. Friar, sit here with your back to the bird. Now, I have one piece of the bird in my hand. He held up a piece of its leg. Tell me, Friar, who shall have this? Leeward, Friar said. All right. Life gave the piece up to Leeward and picked up a second piece. And who shall have this? Hell. All right. No one was angry because Friar couldn't see the pieces. Everyone watched Bligh pick up the bird's head and feet. Who shall have this? He asked Bligh. Friar answered. Everyone laughed, and Bligh looked at the head and feet sadly. Oh, well, he said, I know it's good for me. Slowly, he began to eat them. That evening, they caught a bigger bird and ate that too. The next day, they caught one more. Everyone was happy. Why all these birds here? The boy Robert asked. Bligh smiled. Because we are near land, he said. On 28th May at night, they saw a white water in front of them. The barrier reef, Bligh said, a line of rocks under water. We must be careful. Ships often sink here. Take down the sail and more slowly. We must find a way through. They sailed slowly near the white, angry water. Then after 4 hours, they found a way through. Behind the barrier reef, the sea was blue and quiet. They sailed quietly to a small island. They couldn't sleep on the island and walk about. They began to look stronger, but they were 2,000 kilometers to Timon. So they couldn't stay long. After 6 days, they went to sea again, west toward Timon. The sun was very hot and 2 men were ill. Bligh gave them some broom and blood of birds, but they can't live much longer in a little boat like this, he thought. We are tired and hungry. Someone's going to die soon. Someone's going to die soon, but it was not far now. Every hour Bligh held the rug over the side and wrote his little book. He watched the sun and the sea and the sky. And then on 11th June, Bligh said, you cannot see it, but south of us, there's a big island called Timor. They laughed and smiled and sang. The next day, they saw the island, green trees and hills. 2 days later, they came to a town called Kapan. There were some Dutch sailors by sea. Bligh and his men walked up to them. Who are you? Dutch officer asked. You look hungry and ill. Where are you from? I'm a Captain William Bligh of the English ship HMS Bounty. These are English sailors. These are men, English sailors. We left Tafur 41 days ago. Tafur, the Dutch officer asked, where's that? It's a small island, about 7,000 kilometers away. We came in that small lodge. Oh my God, 41 days in that. The Dutch looked at the lodge, and for a minute he said nothing. Then he asked, how many of you died? Bligh said, no, oh no, only one. The islanders of Tafur killed them. 17 men left Tafur with me, and 17 men are here now, alive. The Bandora. the last chapter 4, the Bandura. On 14th March 1790, Bligh and his men arrived to England. When he told the story of Munity, English people was very angry. They sent Captain Edwards in the Pandora to Tahiti. On 23rd March 1791, the Bandura arrived in Tahiti. Captain Edwards and his men looked carefully at the island. They could see a lot of trees and small houses, but no English ship. Then a small canoe came out of the Bandura. The 3 men in the canoe shouted and smiled. I think they're Englishmen, the sailor said. All right, Captain Edwards said. They can come on the ship. Perhaps they can tell us something. The 3 men, brown and strong, but they wore English sailors' hats and trousers. One of them, a boy about 18 years old, smiled at Edwards. Good morning, sir. My name is Peter Haywood. I'm a young officer from the Bounty. This is Mr. Stewart and Joseph Colin, a sailor. Yes, I see, said Edwards. 3 of you? Where are your friends? Where is Mr. Christian and the Bounty? Haywood looked worried. Mr. Christian? He sailed away in the Bounty, sir, 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I think, but we didn't go with them. We waited for you. We aren't afraid. I see, Edward said. He looked at them carefully. All right, then, tell me your story. What happened after Christian put Captain Bligh in the lounge? Well, sir, Haywood said, we threw our breadfruit trees into sea and sailed here to Tahiti. Otto, the king of Tahiti, was good to us, and a lot of men wanted to stay here, but Mr. Christian was afraid. We can't stay here, we say, because a ship's going to come from inland. It's going to come from inland. So Otto gave us a lot of pigs and goats and food, and we sailed to different islands. Tobua, some islanders from Tahiti came with us, 88 men, 9 women, and 7 boys. But the people of Taubau didn't like us, and some of us didn't like Mr. Christian. So Mr. Christian sailed the Bounty back to Tahiti and left 16 of us here. And then Captain Edwards was excited. What did Mr. Christian do? He asked. He sailed away in the Bounty. Sir, I see. How many men went with him? 9 sailors, I think, but they took 7 Tahitian men and 12 women too. I see. Edward said. He looked at them angrily. 60 men stay on Tahiti and 3 of you are here. So where are other 13? They are waiting for me too on the island. Well, yes, sir. I mean, Peter Haywood stopped. He was worried and afraid. They were here, but they aren't here now, said George Stewart quickly. But he put his hand on Peter Hood's arm. They sailed away too. Oh, did they? Captain Edwards said. When? Haywood and Stewart both spoke at once. 4 days, 2 weeks ago, sir, they said. Then they stopped. Edwards watched them. I see, he said slowly. First you ate First, you are in a Munity, and now you telling me things. That's not true, sailors. Yes, sir, one of the Bandura sailors answered. Put these 3 men in jail, in chains. They are prisoners. But, sir, Peter Haywood said, we didn't run away. We came to tell you our story, and Mr. Stewart have a wife. A wife? Captain Edwards laughed. Is she at home in England? No, sir, here, Mr. Stewart answered. She a Tahitian woman. Her name is Becky, Miss Becky Stewart, and we have a daughter. We have a daughter. Edwards laughed again. A Tahitian woman. I'm sorry for her, but don't worry. She can come on the ship and see you in your new prison. Look behind you. We have a wonderful prison for you and your friends. Look. 3 sailors looked behind them. On the deck of the Bandura was a wooden box about 2 meters high and 4 meters long. It had a small door but no windows. The Bandura sailors put the prisoner in the box with chains on their arms and legs. Captain Edwards laughed. There, are you happy now? You can stay there and all the way to England. But my wife, my little daughter, Stewart said. The door closed in his face. We didn't put blood in the lunch. Kristen did. We came to tell you everything. Edward laughed. Peter Haywood said nothing. Captain Edwards caught 11 more men and put them in the Bandura's box too. Their Tahitian wife and children came onto the Bandura and cried, but Captain Edwards didn't open the door for 3 months. But the Bandura sailed to different islands, and the prisoners stayed in the box. But Edward couldn't find Christian or the bounty, so he began to sail home. Near Australia, the Bandura hit the barrier reef. Water came into the ship, and the sailors couldn't stop it. After 12 hours, Captain Edwards said, we must leave the ship. Get into boats, men. The prisoner couldn't hear the noise outside, and the water came in through the door. Captain Edwards took 3 prisoners out, but then he closed the door. What about us? Peter Haywood shouted. Please, Captain, open the door. Why are you leaving us here? Be quiet, boy, said Captain Edwards. We're working hard now. The ship is sinking. But we're going to die. We can't move. George Stewart shouted, open the door. But Edwards closed the door, and no one helped them outside. The first sailors got into the boat and rowed away. Inside the box, the prisoner hit the walls and shouted, but they couldn't move because of the chains. After an hour, the sailor opened the door and helped them out of the chains. But there were very little time. All of them got their legs free, but some couldn't get their arms free. Peter Haywood was nearly the last man to get out. In the sea, he held on to some wood. He saw George Stewart and 4 other prisoners. They couldn't swim because of the chain on their arms. Help me, Peter, Stewart cried. But the sea took Stewart away. Peter Haywood never saw his friend again. Peter Haywood landed on a small island with some prisoners, Captain Edwards, and Bandura sailors. They had 4 boats, but only 1 small barrel of water and some bread. Like Captain Fly, they sailed to Dutch island of Timor. Then the Dutch ship took them to England. They arrived on 19th June 1792. Peter Haywood looked across the water at the green hills and small houses home. He said quietly to Dutch sailor, "England is very beautiful, you know. I left here 5 years ago." "Are you going to see your family?" the Dutchman asked. "Not yet," Pete answered. "I must go to my trial first and punishment for Munity, you know." He stopped. The wind moved his brown hair. The Dutchman put a hand on his arm. "I know, Peter," he said. "The punishment of Munity is death." "What?" "Punishment of Munity is death. Chapter 5, Death, Life, and Thursday." Okay, I think this is the end for today. That's a lot of things to read. I think I will read it the second time for understand everything you say. Okay, bye bye, goodbye, see you later, and until next time, take care.